else had added someone as well.
So, I saw that you put in like a group.
Yes,
there.
yep.
Are those groups that are formed, like if I create a, whatever they're called this week in Outlook, distribution list, it won't work?
DLs are particular to your Outlook account. These are distribution lists. The Chiefs Point are ones that IT creates. So we can create you a group and tell us. It used to be a better way of doing this, but you can tell us who you want to have in there, and we can maintain it, and then you can use that in the
Okay, so it has to be generated from you all, but not just one I could create.
Correct.
Got it.
And there was sort of a misnomer inside of Office 365 that looked like we could create global DLs, which I think was active for about
A minute.
A minute, yeah, long enough for people to figure it out it was there.
There was like 500 groups created in a matter of an hour. Yeah.
But there are methods that we can give you on your office computer to maintain that group. It just takes some extra tool to install. There used to be a way you could do it inside Outlook directly, but when we went to Office 365, that kind of went away.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, it has to be an actual security group within Active Directory. So now that you've added these individuals, we can go back to site settings, site permissions, and that'll take us back to that main landing area. If you wanted to check to see what a user has permissions to, you can select that check permissions. And now I'm going to look to see what permissions Allison has. What did it do? Hold on. Okay, so I can select the user, say check now, and because I had added Allison a few minutes ago to the visitors group, it now says she has read access, and she's given that access through the visitors group. So that's one way for you to tell the permissions. Now if you wanted to create a group, you could come in here, say create group. But what I suggest when you name a group, name it very similar to the group names that you already have in there. But give it some description so that you know what type of group it is. So for instance, these other groups were called Jefferson, Team Site, Deep Dive. And then for instance, maybe I want this to be a contributors group. I would type in contributors. Now all my team groups have a distinct label. In the owner, it's going to automatically default to you. But what I suggest is you remove yourself out of this owner field and add the actual owners group into this owners field. So if this one was Jefferson Deep Team Site Deep Dive Owners. Now when I add this owners group, it's going to have that any individuals within that group as the owner of this group. That's going to help out if you leave the organization. Then it's not defaulted to you, it's defaulted to whoever takes over this site and owns the site in the future.
That's not what we're telling you, Andy. Box filled up by the end of the week.
And then at the very bottom of this page, you choose, you give the control to the individual. So if this one's a contributor, I'm going to say contribute. But maybe you want them to be an approver or something to that effect. You could create those different permission sets. So go ahead and say create. It'll create your new group and it'll add you within the group. And now you could apply that group to a different area or to add people to that group for your site.
You can also see existing groups, like where it says Jefferson Teams site deep dives,
Uh-huh.
you click on more, and it'll show you the groups that are already.
Yes, absolutely. Yep. So there's a number of groups out there that are already available based on permissions and things of that nature. So we have those mechanisms available to us. Now, if we wanted to only have certain individuals to have access maybe to the calendar, for instance, I could come into the calendar. I could come to calendar and go to the list settings, and I could change permissions for this list. That's going to allow me to set who has access just to this particular item. Now, to do that, you first have to stop inheriting permissions from the parent. So I'm going to come in on the permissions tab, say stop inheriting from the parent, say OK. And now this library or this list has unique permissions. You can see that it has unique permissions. It'll say this list has unique permissions. This goes back to what Andy mentioned earlier. Be cautious of removing people out of here, especially if you're in the owners group. You don't want to remove that group because it will then kick you out of this list altogether. So I'm going to leave the owners group there, but then I'm going to check the box next to these other groups and say remove user permissions. That's going to remove anybody that was in those other groups, and then I could grant specific permissions just to this area. So maybe I want Allison to have access to this list, and I can select the type of access that she's going to have. So maybe it's going to be read-only access. Select share, and now I have this customized security on this particular list.
I'll just kind of point out a use case for this. If you've got a calendar that you need to share with folks, that you want to create, share a calendar, you can put it in any of your team sites that you have, modify your permissions like what we're talking about, and they can direct link to the calendar, even though that user may not have any permissions in any other section of the team site.
Yeah.
So you could basically have a calendar that you just publish to them and keep them.
Yep.
So it's kind of a neat feature. This is what we use to replace all of the
Shared calendars and stuff. Okay. Yep. Now, once you go in and set these unique permissions, you know, 6 months down the road, you may have forgot, you know, where you set unique permissions. You can always go back to site settings, go to the site permissions page, and there'll be a little dialog at the top that says some content has different permissions. Show these items. That's going to be a listing of everything that you have customized the permissions for. So Amy's calendar, I changed it. I can come in here now and manage that specific permission set. So that's one way you can track down those unique permissions. All right. Questions about managing permissions?
Makes it clear.
Yeah, good, good. Well, I know there's a lot of content, so you are probably about to your max, right? Well, let's quickly just talk about changing the look and feel, because I know that's a lot of probably what many of you were here for today is how to change the look and feel of your sites. So, customizing your team site for your team, you can do a couple of different things as a site owner. You could change the logo, which we've already seen today. You change that logo. You can customize that front page of your site to pull any of the apps that we've added today. And then there's also components called web parts, which allow you to do more advanced functionality that is available within your team site as well. And then you can also change the theme of your site. So if you want to not have that standard blue theme that's applied to all the out-of-the-box team sites, you can go in and change it to another theme. You could add a background image, all sorts of things. So if you want to change that logo, we prefer that's a 70 by 70 image that you add there. And I'll show you where you can upload that new logo. So let's take a look at changing the look and feel. For this particular piece, I'm going to go back to that main page of the deep dive site. So here's the main page of our team site deep dive. Right now I currently have a document library, but I want to customize this to fit the needs of my team and my team members. So what I'll do is I'll come in to this page and you'll see an edit link at the very top of the page. Because you're a site owner, you have full control, you're going to see this edit link. You go edit, that will take this page into the edit mode. You'll know you're in edit mode because the page now has these outlines of the different page layout areas where you can add components.
I lost you completely.
Sure.
Can you show that again?
Yep.
How you got there?
So I'm on my main Jefferson page.
Well, I thought I was too, but I don't see. Oh, I know. Never mind.
So if you are on another.
Okay, I'm there.
Yep. At the very top of the page, there's this gray bar that goes across the top, and one of the options is edit.
I got you.
Yep.
Thank you.
No problem. Once you're in the edit mode, you'll see the grid appear of all the different areas of the page. You can change the text layout for this page. So maybe I don't want 2 columns. I can come up to my Format Text tab, and then on that tab is an area called Text Layout, an icon that I will select, and now I get a couple of different options for different layouts of the page. So maybe I want a 3-column layout. I could switch that over to a 3-column. I could change that to 2 columns with a header and a footer type of information. So I can change this to a few different types of layouts. I'm going to change this to 1 column with a sidebar. So the left column is a little bit wider than the right column. Now you'll notice that within my text layout I have a blinking cursor. Cursor's just sitting there, and basically each of these areas by default is a rich text editor. So you can just type text within this area. So maybe I want to say view these calendar events, and I want that to be a header. So I'm going to highlight it, and I'm going to pick a heading style from my Format Text ribbon. So maybe I want that to be a heading 1. View these calendar events. Now, below that header, I want to insert a calendar that I just created onto this page. I can do that by going to the Insert tab. On that Insert tab, you're going to get a bunch of items. I can insert a table, I can insert a video or pictures. Also, I can add or insert an app part. So go ahead and select App Part. You'll notice now we get every app that had been created today. So I have my calendar, I can see Richard's documents. I can see the top secret document library. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to add Amy's calendar and select add. So now I've customized this page to now have my calendar and my document library on the page itself.
I got a service unavailable.
You could see how this customization could go a lot of different directions. So if you had added a discussion board or you had added announcements, you could add those apps to this main page and customize it, the look and feel of the documents itself, so that your team gets surfaced with this information when they come to the site. You have a question?
I just saw the event code.
Oh. Dangerous.
It could be fun.
Yep. Each of these components are just views into those apps that you have, right? So those apps still live as a standalone app, but this is kind of a window into that app. So the same things apply with these, excuse me, with these areas that did with the singular calendar or singular document library we worked with before. I could come in here, select the drop down to the app itself and say edit the web part. That's going to pull up a menu that's web part properties, and within the web part properties you can choose to edit the view. So maybe I wanted to switch to the all events view that we saw earlier, which was more of a standard list view. I could go to that view, say apply, and it will change it to the list view of that. So, you know, earlier when we started the session, there was that site pages library, and you all had asked about why you would go in and add site pages. Basically, you could create a new page within your site. You could create kind of a layout with different views of libraries and things. It's going to work this exact same way. You can customize it and create specialized views for your team members. Okay? So once you make that type of customization, go ahead and save it, and your changes should be saved to that view. The next thing that I wanted to show you is changing that logo. So if you go to the gear at the very top right corner and go to Site Settings, the second option in that second column is Description, Title, and Logo. When you select that, you will see a grouping called Logo and Description. And if you go and say you want one from your computer, that'll let you load one that you have saved somewhere on your computer. So I think I had a team logo in here. I'm going to hit OK. It has my new logo. I hit OK again, and now that is my new site logo. Now, once search has crawled my site and indexed that image has been changed, when I come back here to my app launcher and go to sites, this logo that's next to your team site will be replaced with the logo that you just applied. Okay, so for instance, this West Kentucky team site deep dive that I have on mine, the logo that I had applied there is now the logo that's next to my item. Okay, so I'm going to go back to my deep dive site. The last thing I want to show you is the theme. If you go to site settings menu, then one of the options says change the look. It's in that second column, change the look. This is where you can apply a different theme to your site. So by default, it's going to be the blue, Microsoft blue color. I can change that. Maybe I want it to be the green option, so I can change that. It will apply the green theme over my site. I have option to choose specific colors, so maybe I want it to be gray with a hot pink or dark background. Those are very hard to read in my opinion, but some people do have them set that way. But maybe I want it to be this Kelly green color. I can also change the font that my site's using, so you can change that. You can change the layout. So there's two in here by default. The default one is Seattle. If you change it to Oslo, you'll notice that the left navigation gets removed. So you only have this top navigation. So if you come in here and you change that, and then you kind of curious where your left nav went, it's probably because it got changed from Oslo to from Seattle to Oslo.
When I started playing around, I did this on one of my sites. You need to access. You need access to KCTCS.sharepoint.com/site/prices before you change the look of your site.
Okay, I know what is causing that issue, so after the session, I'll give you access there. Yep.
Just another word that I've learned recently. You probably would have stayed away from greens and reds, because those are the two colors that people who are colorblind cannot see. So,
Yep, that's a good web accessibility tidbit, yeah.
Allied Health needs to learn that.
I know.
If you look at their curriculum guides, all of their links are in red.
I had a colorblind student a couple semesters ago, and he said, I can't see that when you look at just all gray.
It's amazing enough, depending on how bad it is, they can actually train themselves to figure out which shade of gray to look at.
I would imagine.
Believe it or not, Harley's colorblind.
I believe it. It was still or not.
You didn't check that.
Oh, that's on video.
That could be worse than exam.
Once you've made your final choices with the theme,
I like that.
you can just say try it out. It will apply those colors onto the content that you have on your main page.
You have music. That's a little music note.
Yeah, that was the logo that we added in
Oh,
there.
that's funny.
Yeah. So it takes it a minute or two.
It's just a look at it. It's
Yeah.
not
Yes.
quite there
Yeah.
yet.
So you did 70 by 70 for the logo?
Yes.
Okay,
Mhm.
make sure I have that.
Yep. So it takes it a minute or so to apply that theme to your site.
I've had an email that's
It will
Ooh, I
show
like
you
that
the
one.
site.
Yeah, keep it.
And then once you're ready, if you want it, you can say keep it.
Love it. Everyone's going to join my team site.
So now, whew, that's a little bit bright once we
I
get
love
in
it.
here. So now we have our team site with the new theme. So that would be how you would go about changing that. There is, note that there is some themes that are in here that have background images. So I'm going to go change the look. For instance, some of these have background images. You can add your own background image. I always like to suggest that you get someone involved that knows how to optimize an image for the web. because if you put a raw image into your team site, that's huge. It's a lot of file space. Each time you come to that site, you're loading that image. So make sure it's optimized for the web, but you can load an image. You can change your image right here. Once you want to try it out, you can apply that, and that'll apply it to your team site. So there is those options as well. All right.
So the letters have to get on top of that. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it is a bit much. Yeah. Okay. Well, guys, you've made it through Team Site Deep Dive. Yeah. If you have any questions after the session, you get back to your office. You let me know. If you want the question to go to our entire team, you can go to internetteam@kctcs.edu. That'll go to everybody in our group to get the answer back to you. Is there any questions about things we've covered today?
What is the after good morning?
We may need to review that video again. All right. Well, guys, I did want to thank you for attending today, and so I want to give you a big kudos for coming. And so please come by, grab a bar before you leave, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Appreciate it.
Uh-huh.